Do you think that trends are correlated or uncorrelated when you look at deal size? So when you're talking about your net indigo stuff, right, the bigger packages, does that necessarily follow, the metrics, the activity, when you start looking at assets in the same areas, but the stuff that's $1 million and less? Sometimes the markets can act very differently. Different players, different dynamics. An example, last year, I think folks, it's funny, in March, they're like, Tim, it's minerals. There's no CapEx, no bankruptcy risk. We're not a seller. We bought this stuff at $50-$60. And then in August, because no one could transact and reset the portfolios, now they were changing their tune a little bit. But they weren't fire selling, they were pruning. And so my thesis is lower end of the market probably picked up a little bit versus the bigger stuff was harder. Now you're starting to see the bigger transactions in minerals start to come, Darren at Mesa, and there's a handful of others that are about to be announced. But do you see any kind of interesting things, the lower end of the market versus the bigger deals?
Yes. I mean, and even a little bit broader scope than what you're describing, and I'll kind of focus in on that as well, is just, when there are the mega mergers going on, the Pioneer, Parsley, Conoco, Concho, Chevron, Noble, Devon, WPX, that those happen, and where, our end of the market sees none of that, but in 18 months, 24 months, when those large, they've digested those assets, and now we're determining what's core and non-core with the new combined organization, we see a lot of a pickup in A&D activity. And I think that also it's very similar to what you were describing, where, the big mineral companies, royalty companies that have significant portfolios, they're pruning. And when time is right to sell a $300 million package, a $500 million package, it's probably a little bit different time than it is when you're mixing and matching the portfolio to high grade it. So I think that there will be some significant larger mineral and royalty transactions throughout this year and into next, and I think it kind of the cycle kind of continues.